quadrants. They're like 7-1. They had a bad game against Indy, but it was totally predictable because Indy had to win every game, and they had come off the New Orleans win and the overtime win. I actually like the Cowboys this weekend by a touchdown.
Russell Wilson scares me. I will admit. That dude is great. But I like the Cowboys. I think they'll be able to run on Seattle, and I think they'll be able to slow down Seattle's rush game.
Okay, you and I, we're just going to argue now. It's going to be 7 minutes arguing, 8 minutes arguing, because I don't buy Oklahoma City's a playoff team. I think they're built
for a playoff team.
No, I mean to do anything in the playoffs. Okay. Westbrook, by the way, has gone from 84%, 75% to 64%. He can't shoot. It's in his head. Now he is going and chasing rebounds because he knows he can't shoot. And I don't know if it's because of the criticism he's received. He cannot shoot. He is having by the way, guards don't get to their 10th year in the league and can't shoot. You generally define and refine your shooting, so he's padding his rebounding stats. I watched him last night. Paul George has always been very good regular season. Don't trust him in big spots in the playoffs. I don't buy OKC despite last night 1 iota to you.
I spoke to a scout on my way in today who told me, Western Conference scout, playoff team, OKC is a real threat to Golden State.
To what? Win a game?
He said Golden State, look, Draymond is not having a good year, and some of it people around the league are believing is physical. His body is beginning to break down. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing around the league.
By the way, he is eroding as a player.
Yes.
There's no doubt.
And a lot of it's his body. And so maybe Golden State is vulnerable. We'll see. But look, I don't think I'm picking Golden State still in the West.
You think this team is a viable contender?
Yes, I think if outside of Golden State, I think Houston, the Lakers, and OKC will be the teams vying for that spot opposite Golden State in the Western Conference Finals.
By the way, I want to look this up. See, this is going to drive me crazy.
And Paul George, by the way, is having a career year by far.
Yeah.
Better than the pre-injury Paul George.
By the way, Westbrook was 3 for 20 last night.
And he had a triple-double.
Okay.
In a win.
And you gave him a triple-double. You gave him an MVP off that stupid stat. That means nothing.
Russell Westbrook is going to be an icon.
Where?
He's going to, in history.
In the early exit playoff club?
25 years from now, people will be talking about Russell Westbrook. This guy averaged a triple-double for 3 years. All I'll give you is this. It is slightly easier now to get a triple-double than, say, 20, 25, 30 years ago. Not easier than when Oscar Robertson did it because the pace was so fast, but because of all the three-pointers, there's longer rebounds. There aren't as many great big men, so that's more rebounds for perimeter players in addition to the long rebounds. So it's easier for a guard to get, including LeBron, Harden, all these other guys. But who else is averaging a triple-double?
Okay, by the way,
nobody else.
Nobody has his usage rate except James Harden, who doesn't worry about rebounds because he can shoot. Westbrook can no longer shoot. He was never a great shooter.
He's never been a great shooter.
Now he's atrocious, and so he's padding his rebounding stats. So on the little thing in the bottom of ESPN and NBA.com, it goes, Russell Wilson had a triple-double. It means nothing. He was 3 for 20 last night. He's terrible.
A career 43% shooter. This year he's 41.6. 2 percentage points down. He's never been a shooter. And what he needs to do is stop shooting as many threes. Now, the free throw percentage, that's unexplainable. But he needs to stop shooting as many threes and maybe shoot 2 a game instead of 5 a game.
Okay, everything's explainable. UFOs are explainable. They're simply military aircraft that our United States government doesn't want to let out, so they test stuff in the desert, and those are the UFOs.
So why isn't he shooting free throws well?
About 3 years ago, people started really ripping him, and it got into his head.
He's a consistent herd listener.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he has come under the last 3 years legitimate scrutiny, where people have said, he's not a great teammate. After Kevin Durant left, he started getting criticism of doesn't pass enough, not a great teammate, not a great shooter. He was doing this with his shooting game. Better. Durant leaves. His free throw percentage has cratered. It has collapsed.
The 2 years Durant's been gone, he's averaged a triple-double.
Okay, triple-double, but his shooting is worse.
And that narrative of bad teammate is very much softening, if not gone, because Paul George chose him over LeBron James.
How can your free throw percentage collapse? It's collapsed since KD left.
Okay, why doesn't LeBron shoot him well? Why has his free throw percentage gone down?
6'9" guys and above outside Bird, Nowitzki, and Durant never shoot free throws well. Big
Tim
hands.
Duncan.
Tim Duncan was awful for
Joel Embiid. He shoots them well.
Okay. Most big guys.
So good.
Some 6'9".
LeBron 6'9". Magic Johnson was a great free throw shooter.
LeBron has never been a good free throw shooter. Westbrook was. Now he's atrocious. That's mental. That's mental.
There might be some truth to that, but look, Russell Westbrook is going to be an icon, just like Allen Iverson. I'm telling you, he's not going to be Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love. He was a great player, Hall of Fame. He's going to be iconic because he's done something nobody else in the history of this sport has done.
Triple-double, blah, blah. Nobody. Just garbage usage stat. All right.
If LeBron averages triple-double, you'd be
But he doesn't.
Praising.
And he doesn't because he doesn't care about it. By the way, Kawhi Leonard's a better player. He doesn't either.
They're better than Westbrook.
They don't care about it. Okay, let's go to this. So everybody gets all crazy on this. If you were gonna break up with somebody, let's say Joy was just she wanted to break up with somebody, or you want to break up, or I want to break up. You start picking little fights or dropping little hints. You just don't walk in one day after a great night and say, we're done, and then the house explodes. The apartment explodes. So Anthony Davis, a couple weeks ago, says, hey, man, it's not about money. It's about legacy. It's about winning. And then last night, he goes crazy and they lose, and he's like, man, it's getting frustrating. He's dropping hints. The breakup's coming. First, he acknowledges it's not about money because New Orleans can pay him the most.
Right.
And he acknowledges 2 weeks ago before the breakup, it ain't about money. I want to win games. Last night, he has his best game of the year, and they lose, and he drops the next hint, which is, man, it's frustrating here.
Team guy.
So don't you think the LeBrow meter? I mean, come on.
Look, there's no doubt the LeBrow meter should be sky high. Here's the deal. Anthony Davis will not be a Laker this year.
That's right.
Right, okay. There's no way New Orleans will trade him this year to the Lakers. This is what's going to happen. This summer, New Orleans is going to offer Anthony the Supermax contract.
Yeah, it's like $200 zillion.
Yeah, 240, something like that, 239. He's going to reject it.
Yeah.
They're going to realize, okay, he's not staying. If he's not taking the Supermax, we're going to have to trade him.
Right.
Anthony's not going to be the bad guy. His agent, Rich Paul, also LeBron's agent, will talk to New Orleans and be like, look, he's not going to stay long term. You know, you guys, he's giving it, I don't know, 7 years? You haven't won. He wants to win. You can't fault a guy for that. Okay, where does he want to be traded? The Lakers. Okay, that now the Lakers will be then it'll come down to, will New Orleans trade him in the conference to the Lakers, the place he wants to go, or do they move him elsewhere, i.e. Boston, where a lot of people think they can get the better deal from Boston. Now, then it comes down to Rich Paul has a lot of other clients, Ben Simmons, John Wall. He may get other top young players. You want to teams work with agents. You got to have good relationships with guys. And so is that all that enough to get New Orleans to trade him to the Lakers where you know he's going to stay? Boston would probably have to do it thinking he might stay. And he might stay there. But are they going to give up enough on the hope that he stays versus the Lakers on the definite, he definitely would stay.
Okay, you talk to Michael Jordan privately. We'll get to that next. Plus, something you saw last night in the Lakers' loss without LeBron James. Chris Broussard, Greg Cosell.